Here we are at Indian Springs Metro Park, where they are leaving a lot of the land native, and it's a great place to look for milkweed. Out in this field I can see milkweed as far as I can see, and especially up close, so we'll take a look at it as we get into the field. The name milk came from, let me show you, the latex that's in here. If I break a stem, you'll see that it bleeds that white latex. And actually, some people are allergic to this. So sometimes I recommend that people use gloves. I happen not to be allergic, so I'm okay. But this is a problem for insects and butterflies that come here because it contains something called a cardiac glycoside, which is poisonous. It affects animals, it affects insects, and all of them need some way of protecting themselves from this. So there are lots of different kinds of milkweeds, but each of these is a milkweed flower growing in a little bunch like this, and they all have this beautiful 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 petal structure. And look, hanging down here, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 sepals. All the different kinds of milkweeds have this same very pretty flower structure. Other kinds of butterflies, many different kinds of bees and wasps, and maybe even hummingbirds are attracted to the flowers because these flowers just pump out nectar, and they're so delicious to so many different kinds of insects. This is a different type of milkweed. It's called swamp milkweed, and you can understand why, because we're here with all the cattails and it's kind of wet around here. There are maybe over 100 different milkweeds in the United States, but swamp milkweed is quite common here. And these have not yet opened all the way, so we're not seeing a lot of insects. But in the United States, on common milkweed that we just looked at in the field, and swamp milkweed in these wet areas, and poke milkweed, which grows on the edges of forests and so on, all these different milkweeds have more than 450 different insects that depend upon them. We're going to look for another kind of milkweed, the orange milkweed, that grows in a drier environment. This is a very nice prairie that's been reconstructed here at Indian Springs Metro Park, and you see all kinds of prairie plants nearby here. All the milkweeds have their seeds in pods, and this is what the pod of this orange milkweed looks like. It will be sort of standing up this way, and inside, typical of all the milkweeds, is the fluff and the seeds. And there goes the fluff, trying to sow more seeds to make more orange milkweed. So this is the common milkweed, and after the flowers have been pollinated, then the little tiny pods begin to grow, and that contains the fluff and the seeds. Here's some tiny ones up here. Look at these ones down here that are larger. They start out kind of like a Nerf ball, soft and squishy, and then later in the year they get hard, and then the seeds are ripe, and then they begin to split open. And at that time, that's when you can have fun throwing the fluff, which they call coma, special name for it, into the air, and it will spread the milkweed seeds around. So in nature, you can see that milkweed spreads everywhere, but because people have been using lots of herbicides to get rid of all kinds of weeds in their gardens and their lawns and in agricultural communities, there's much less milkweed now. So we like to suggest that you collect some of those dry pods and sort them so you can get seeds like this. These are the dried seeds, and then spread them out in the ground late in the year when the frost has first started, and they will be overwintering and they need that cold spell in order to break open and start to create a new milkweed plant. So these are common milkweed seeds, and our conservancy gives them out to whoever wants to plant them in their gardens. Remember that your garden full of milkweed is not just for monarchs, it's for all those different insects, and to complete the ecosystem that we hope will survive and keep all of the pollinators, all of the butterflies, all of the insects in food supply going into the next centuries.